and welcome back to Pond House Garden. It is Michelle and I am here today taking care of putting our dahlia tubers behind me into vermiculite storage containers. And Dad is outside working away on trying to deal with some windfall before the snow arrives, because last night on the mountains, the snow was finally here. We're at the end of November and that's fairly common for us, but it has been a bit warmer, which has been great for gardening and taking up the dahlias. So this is step number 4 in Dahlia Winterization. For those of you who are new to the channel, I've already put a video or posted a few videos for step number 1, 2, and 3. This is the final stage of tuber winterization. We made it. This is fantastic. But step number 1, if you recall, was cutting the dahlia stalks down to about 6 inches high off the ground and then leaving them in the ground for 1 to 2 weeks so that the tuber clumps can start to form eyes. Step number 2 was then digging the dahlia clumps out of the garden or out of the ground, bringing up the large clump, hosing it down, and double checking that it is in good form. There's no virus that's sitting there looking you straight in the eye. It's nice and healthy. And I went over some tips and tricks for that stage in the video. And so once you have the tubers all washed off, you then set them on the drying rack. Step number 3 was then dividing those clumps of dahlias into single dahlia tubers and putting them to get them ready for storage. And today is finally taking those single tubers and putting them into the storage totes with vermiculite. So let's take a closer look. Is there anything else that I want to tell you? Let's see. Step number 1, 2, 3. You're going to watch those prior videos if you haven't already. This is step number 4, final. Woo! Yay, I'm so excited. This is the final step. Ozzy is here at my feet because he doesn't want to leave Mama today. So if there's any odd noises in the background, it's because Oz is here. Hello, Oz. Yes, what a good boy. And without further ado, let me show you what I have going on behind me to give you a better look. First, we have Ozzy. Hi, Oz. He does not like the camera very much. Oh, yes, hello. Hi. Hi, little guy. Quite a day. He needs his mom today. All right, and here's what we have here. So, if you recall, we were drying the big clumps of tubers over on this side of the drying rack area. And then we divided the big clumps of tubers into these trays, which hold typically 1 variety of tuber per tray. And if we look a little bit closer, you'll see here, I have the name tag, Citron du Cap, and I also have the plant tag that was wrapped around the tuber when I planted it originally. And then I have gone on to number each one of the tubers so that I can easily identify the variety or the name using my Excel sheet list. Excel sheet list? Yeah, Excel sheet list. You will see here also that we have dipped the ends in cinnamon, and this prevents rot from spreading. So this is a natural product that you can use. And in this case, the tuber was severed, but again, we will just dip the end into cinnamon as well as the crown here into cinnamon to seal these ends up. This is just a bit of dirt on here. You can see I can rub that away. And so it's nice and dry now. And the trick is you don't want to over dry your tubers before you put them into storage. So you don't want them to be squishy. This is still nice and hard. Let me see, this one should be nice and hard. Yeah, this is nice and hard as well. They are different sized tubers. And so some will dry faster than others, of course, so you've got to pay attention to that. Here's a smaller one, and let me just, no, it's still hard, which is great. But you'll find if you have over dried or you've let them sit here too long, they will start to go squishy. And squishy is letting you know that now you've not only dried the outside and the cut parts of the tuber, but you've also started depleting the moisture that's inside the tuber. If you catch it soon enough, you're still going to be fine to have a sprout form next spring. But if you don't catch it soon enough, it ends up being just one shriveled mess. It may still produce a shoot, but it will not be pretty looking so that someone will want to buy it. You'll want to use it for your own garden in your own stock. So yes, I have planted the occasional shriveled one, and I thought there's no way a plant is going to come off of it, but it did. And really, it's just like Dad says, it's just a grand experiment. So you can try things every year and see if it works for you, and you can try something different every year to see if it works better. And every year you're just improving on what works in your area and what works for your garden. So yeah, you can try to shrivel up your tubers if you want to. You probably won't sell them to anybody because they don't look very nice, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to provide you with a fantastic looking plant that actually flowers really well. And that tuber will grow back, and it will become more full of life, more full of nutrients over that growing season. And then when you take it out in the fall to winterize it, you get to start the process all over again with a tuber that is more established. So just because they're shriveled one year doesn't mean that you're not going to restore them and get them back the next year. But really, ideally, you don't want to shrivel them at all. So let's see which ones I've got in here. These ones, there was not very many that I was able to salvage from a bundle. So I put, let's see, there's 3 different varieties in this tray. So I have Ferncliff Illusion, Kamano Sitka, and then I have, what is this little guy here? Shiloh Noel as well. And again, same idea. I just numbered each one, dipped them into, oops, actually I should have cut the roots off of these. So these are roots right here. And there's some dirt. Just gonna take that dirt off, rub it away. We don't want any dirt in the storage, remember, because that leads to rot. Okay, nothing damp. Still a solid tuber, which is great, not squishy. And I'll just cut this root off and get that ready for storage. So that's Kamano Sitka. This one here. This, interestingly enough, this is a mother tuber. So that means that this tuber was in the ground originally last year, just the single tuber. And from something that was this size, over the growing season, it became this size. And typically, we do not keep the mother tubers. Sometimes they will rot in the middle. But if Dad and I are trying an experiment, like I said, which in this case we have decided that this one looked well enough that we wanted to keep it for our own planting purposes, and to see if it does produce a tuber for, a shoot, a stalk, an eye. That's what I'm trying to say, an eye. We'll see if it produces an eye for us in the spring, and if not, we'll just throw the mother away. So this is, like I said, we're just trial and error every year. So we'll keep the mother, but definitely we want to keep this one because this is the new tuber that formed in a bundle with the mother. And there are eyes. I'm going to try to see if I can back this off a little bit. There we go. So there's eyes right at the end here of the neck, these bumps, these swellings. And then there's the crown, which we've dipped in cinnamon. So this is a good tuber. We've got the body, the neck, the crown, and these little bumps, which are the eyes, which are the growth points for next season. Fantastic. And then over here, Ferncliff Illusion, we have, this looks like a new one. That's not the mother. So that's a new tuber, as well as all of these were new. Oh, and look at this one. Okay, here's a great example. So Dad and I, we just have fun with this. Look at this little guy. You will read that people will never keep this. You know, they'll be like, oh my gosh, it's gonna die over winter. It's not gonna produce anything. But Dad and I have found that in our gardens, it seems to do okay. So we decided to keep this little guy. We have the body, a neck, and we have the crown here as well. And we'll just see if it produces a shoot. But look at the difference in sizes. So you have this one here. And on the bundle, we also have the tuber bundle that I pulled out. We have this one, which was just establishing. We had these ones, which were growing on. So all from the tuber clump that I pulled up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 in total, but all at various stages of growth. Mr. Snorty, what are you doing? Can you sit? Can you sit? Can you shake a paw? Oh, good dude. Can you shake the other? Okay, you sit again. Can you sit again? Can you shake the other paw? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, good boy. So this gives you a really good idea then that we ended up with 6 of these tubers, of which probably only 1, 2, and 3 will be saleable because I can't see many people buying this from me. But I will plant that myself. I'll also plant this larger one, and I'll also plant this one in the garden. But these 3 will be taken to market, 1, 2, and 3. And if we look over here, there's more. So we have a whole bunch. This is again 1 tuber clump being divided into multiple individual tubers. Same here, and same here. And it goes on. We have all things drying right now on this big rack. So now comes the next step, which is taking them from these trays and putting them into the storage totes. Now the storage totes I buy from Canadian Tire. You can buy them, I'm sure, in a lot of, home storage type stores. These ones were on sale for $7.99 each, which is great. They're normally $9.99. And these are Canadian prices. And the container is 15 liters. And does it tell me? Dimensions 17 by 11 by 6-ish. So that's 43 by 29 by 17-ish, okay? So, and the nice thing is they're clear, and I put the vermiculite right in the bottom, which I will show you right now. And I will also show you my stack of dahlia tubers that I did yesterday. These are the ones that I got to yesterday. If the totes aren't full, then I just keep them here until they are full. As you can see here, I have little bees wings inside this tote, number 443. And I had 23 tubers come in, individual tubers, and then I added 10 the other day. And I just keep track of it this way. I am gonna do create a more formal permanent type card that goes inside the boxes. This is just a piece of printer paper I've thrown in here for now. And I do the same thing. Here's Parkland Rave, number 421. I put 10 in, plus I added 14. So there's 24 individual tubers in this tote. Joey Chantel, number 410. I have 13 in here so far, and I'll add to it until this tote is full. Are you comfortable? And so on and so forth. I've done it with all these. All right, let's pull this one down and take it over to give you a better look here. So you can see here that Dad has drilled 6 holes, 1 in each corner and then 1 on each side here, in order to allow for humidity to escape and for proper air circulation. And inside here, I have my plant tags from the garden, as well as the original tag that was around the original tuber that I planted last year. And inside here, I have vermiculite, and I had a short video post about the fact that we use a coarser material, and this is medium grade vermiculite. So we don't like a fine material, we like a coarser material, and we find that medium grade is perfect. We buy that from a local agriculture store. And then what happens is I lay the tubers inside the tote, and then I put, I spread vermiculite over the top, and then I do another layer of tubers and then vermiculite over top, and you'll see me explain that in more detail, and we'll go through putting all of these away today together. And then once this is full, like I can still get another, at least 1 row in here, depending on the size of the tuber. Then I will top it with vermiculite, close the lid up again, and take it away to the root cellar for permanent storage for winter. And then I simply continue that process until I'm done, which is about the month of November it takes us to do this. You will see that other people on YouTube have posts of how they go about storing their dahlias. And particularly larger farms that specialize in dahlia production and have their business based on tuber sales, they'll have extremely high volumes of tubers that they're trying to winterize. And so what they typically do is they'll dig up row upon row upon row of bundles of tubers. They'll leave the dirt on there. They kind of just dust it off a little bit, but leave the dirt on. Put them into very large, no, I shouldn't say very large, but these black crates, and they can stack about 10 bundles of tubers into each crate. And they stack up these crates in these warehouses. And then over several months during the winter, they will attack one crate at a time and do this process. With us, because we are still a family-based business and we don't have that high volume of these larger commercial farms, we can get away with doing this process from beginning to end for the entire month of November right now. As we're expanding, we're going to need some help to finish in November, or we are going to have to do it so that we get them into the shop, and then we'll start exploring dividing some more into December. So I can see the length of time it takes us kind of expanding as we get larger, but we're never going to be so large that we have a whole bunch of people employed over multiple months dividing tubers. That'd be insanity to me. And I want to enjoy the dahlias. For those of you who are new to our channel, you'll know that the reason that I grow these dahlias with Dad is actually in memory of my granddad. So I never wanted this to become so much that I don't like dahlias anymore. I want to love dahlias for the rest of my life, and I want to remember him for the rest of my life. So yeah. Okay, back to it. So I'll just put this back into the pile here. All right, and then I'll take an empty one here and we will start at it. So the first thing I do is put this down on the drying rack, and then I reach over here into my vermiculite bag. And for those of you who have not seen the short, what we buy is Ultratech Premium Horticultural Vermiculite, and you can see way down at the bottom here, we buy a medium grade. Okay, and so in here, there it is there, and probably not using the best pot. I've got some holes in here. I just dump out the first layer. Shake it around a bit to get a good base on the bottom. And then I will choose, oh, what is this one? This one has quite a few. This one is, oh, Citron du Cap. Oh, we have another, oh, there's another Citron du Cap over there. So I don't mind combining these into here to make one full tote if I can. And so I'll just start the process of putting one at a time, and you do not want them to touch one another because we want to have a good amount of vermiculite in between so that it hugs the tuber. Just like this, one by one by one. Oops, let's try that way. And a little bit more. I can fit this in this way. Another one. Another one. Okay, so you can see how this is going. Another one in here maybe. Do it that way. Doing this one-handed. Okay, let's see. This one right here. Gosh, can I fit another smaller one? Let's see. I think I can. Put another one in here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's see. Just scooch these up a little bit. They're all numbered. Yeah, let's see if I can fit another one in here. Maybe this way, there we go. All numbered, all with cinnamon. Nothing's touching one another in here. All right, there is my layer number one. And then I'll go back and grab some more vermiculite in my bucket. Okay. And then I just fill it over top. And you don't need to have a really thick layer. You just want to make sure that the ones that you're going to put on top as your second layer are not touching the ones that are below. So that's nice. There we go. Everything's covered up on the first layer, and then I can continue now with the second layer on top. Normally Dad and I have music playing while we're doing this. And we think of the good old days and bring up all those stories that we never have time to talk about. There we go. And then once I have that layer done, then I'll put another layer of vermiculite over top. And I will do that with every single one of the tubers that are behind me, ready to go into storage today. So here we go. Let's finish up the one I was just working on. And I'll add in this second crate of the same variety, keeping one variety per tote. Okay, let me show you what this looks like. So here I have my second layer of Citron Ducap, and I will just use my vermiculite again. Nothing is touching, all have been numbered. I have cinnamon on all of the, any of the cuts, and then away I go with the vermiculite again. Smooth that over, getting it ready for a third layer of tubers. Okay, and final, put these ones in. And then I will just cover this area up, leaving this available for space for more tubers if I have more Citron Ducap that is yet to come into storage. So I'm not going to waste my space, and I'm not going to waste my vermiculite by filling this in. I'm just going to put it over top of these guys. And then put it back, put the tote back into the pile, so that I can fill it up again, maybe a couple days from now. And finally, I have to put my tags inside here so that I can reuse those next year. We don't want to waste anything. And these tags, these plant tags, I actually make up using my Cricut, if any of you have heard of the Cricut before, but this is just a vinyl that's been cut. So I type in the name of the dahlia, and then I cut it out on a vinyl sheet of paper, and then it cuts it like a sticker, and then I can just put it on these plant tags that I buy from the nursery. All right, that's in there, and then I just carry it over to the rest of them until it is filled. I need to find a lid for that guy. Just want to make sure that on this one, I don't know if you can see it, but there was a lot of soil built up around the neck area here. So that is going to be an area that is subject to rot in storage. So you want to make sure just to brush away any of that excess soil that's on the tuber, and especially if it's caught up in these little areas here along the crown. So that's what I was doing. Yeah, there's another one. So a lot, let's see if I can show that to you there. Yeah, so big buildup. So I just kind of, you can use a little toothbrush if you want to, but you just kind of, I just rub it off now. At this point, it's nice and dry. So just rub it off and then it just becomes a big kind of smear rather than clumps that can hold moisture. That would be bad. We do not want anything holding moisture right around the crown. All right, and so I'm inspecting them as I put them away too, and any exposed area, you can see the rawness of the tuber. Then I just have my little cinnamon jar here. I'm gonna just do a little sprinkly. Fill all that in, and then cover that up, and then that helps to prevent the rot from growing over the winter too. So Pen Hill Watermelon is officially full. So this one will go down to the root cellar today. Right, so more information, little bits pop into my head as I'm doing this. How long have these been here? I pulled them out of the ground, washed them off, put them on the drying rack for 24 hours. And then we divided them into individual tubers and they've been here for 24 hours. And so that's been a total of 48 hours. And today I'm putting them in the vermiculite. So I find that right now, with any longer time frame than that, they are starting to shrivel a little bit. So the magic time for me is 48 hours from pulling them out of the ground to getting them into the vermiculite. I'm also finding out that I'm running out of vermiculite, so I may have to continue the video tomorrow. I'm hoping I get through, but I might have to continue it tomorrow. And vermiculite, the reason that we use that is we find that it's a fantastic material that both absorbs the excess moisture from the tubers, if there is any excess moisture, but also allows the tubers to retain moisture. So it acts as a, I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but it provides a material that supports keeping a certain humidity inside the tote, but not allowing rot to take place, because it will absorb the extra into the vermiculite itself. So maybe I should research that more and provide a different video for you in the future. Okay, so here's another example. If you can see that, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but I've got my little plant tag here. But inside here, there's a whole bunch of soil. And so I want to make sure that that's really cleaned out for storage, or that right there is going to rot. So I will just take, oh yeah, I don't know if you can, oh, there's a big clump of soil that I just took out of there. So I'll just kind of pick at that. I don't know if you can see it a little bit. Yeah. I don't know, kind of like being a hygienist. A hygienist. That's a cross between a dentist and a hygienist. A hygienist. A hygienist. I would think that this is what they do with our teeth. Ugh, isn't that, I don't know. Hats off to you for having that training. I couldn't do it. I get too impatient. But yeah, that's looking better already. I don't know if you can see the difference there, but. So when you see me slow up, it's because during the process I'm catching stuff like this and I don't want to give it a chance to rot. That's it. Another bag bites the dust. So I'm gonna have to continue this tomorrow, but still have a little bit to go, so let's continue together. That's it. No more vermiculite. Okay, so I'll come back to this tomorrow. I'm gonna scoot over to the ag store and grab another couple bags, and then I will finish up what I've got here. The reason it's critical is because some of these are smaller tubers. So if I leave them another 24 hours, we're gonna be into a shrivel mode, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna scoot down there right now, get back, and then finish this up tonight. Thankfully, this step of the winterization process is inside the shop, so it's nice and warm, and I have lights on 24/7 if I want to work that long. I don't want to work that long, but at least I don't have to pack it in at 4:30 in the afternoon when it gets dark outside. So stay tuned. In one moment, you'll see tomorrow's video right behind this. Two, three, four, and five. That's it. All right, it is day number 2. I made it down to the ag store to get the medium grade vermiculite yesterday, worked a little bit longer, and then just called it a day. It was a long day. So I've just come back now. I'm gonna finish up a few things behind me on the table and show you what's left. That's it. Okay, all done. So last one, and I'll show you here what's left on the table. I'm kind of glad this is behind me. I did a count yesterday before I went home, and it turns out that we have 18 plants yet to go. That's not a lot. So Dad and I will get at it next week. We'll take the weekend off and just get back at, it's only gonna take us a couple days to do because we will go through steps 1 to 4 between Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then they are all away in the root cellar for the rest of the winter. And then it's just a matter of us monitoring the temperature and the humidity inside the root cellar. In fact, I'll show you. I have a little gadget inside the totes. So as you can see, the drying rack is now empty. I have one type A tote left, which is not going to be enough. I'm gonna have to pick up some more totes. However, Canadian Tire was out the other day, so fingers crossed that they end up restocking before I need them. All of the empty trays are down here, and that's what we will cut. The next 18 tuber bunches, we will cut them down into single tubers and put them into those trays. Of course, the drying racks are for drying the large clumps. And then we have our tools and our vermiculite over here. But, oh, this is so nice to see it clean and almost done, almost behind us. These are all the totes that Dad and I got done over the last couple of days, and there's still a little bit of room in each one, so I won't put them into storage quite yet until the remaining 18 tubers are divided and ready to go into totes. And in the meantime, I've moved over here one of our totes, Summer Night. Inside, you'll see that I have this handy dandy little device that shows me the temperature and the humidity inside the box. Now, this is at 14 degrees Celsius and it's 94%. Optimally, I want to have my totes be anywhere from 80 to 90. 94% is a little too high. So I'm going to have to take the humidity down a bit. I am wondering here, I started having Dad drill 6 holes into the tote lids, and this one only has 4. So I'm wondering if it's keeping a little too much humidity in here. And then as far as the temperature is concerned, I actually don't want it to be much more than 10 degrees Celsius. And that way they will not wake up early from warm temperature. So I have a little, why is it upset? It seems to be upset with me. It's giving me a frowny face. But I keep these multiple, I bought multiple units and I put them throughout multiple totes, and that way I can ensure kind of what's happening across all totes as an average temperature and humidity. As well, in a future video, I'll show you the root cellar itself, and we have controllers inside the root cellar and temperature and humidity gauges outside of the totes. That way we know what's happening in the room as well as what's happening in the closed up totes. And I just bought these actually on Amazon, nice and easy, and they are proving to be super useful. So I recommend you go look them on Amazon. In fact, maybe I'll find that and put a link below in the details for you if that's helpful. And that sums up step number 4 of the Dahlia tuber winterization process, the final stage of winterization. We are almost there. So thank you to all of you who have become part of the Pond House Garden family. We are so happy that you're here. And please make sure that you make a comment below. We read them all the time. If you have any further questions or you want any future videos, just pop us a line and let us know. See you soon. And with the magic of video recording. What are we doing now? Are we videoing? Is it the act of creating a video? It's videoing? I don't know. And I don't even know what I want to say. What do I even want to say? What am I trying to say here?